Well, hello, this is Cindy Luby, and today is Tuesday, and it's time for my quick and easy card. Well, today, fall is in the air, and I chose Gorgeous Leaves as my stamp set and bundle. So here are the dies. Absolutely love these leaves. Perfect time of the year to start doing some stamping with your leaves with all those pretty fall colors out there. And look at this stamp set. Look at all the different leaves that you can do. You can do some little designs in the background. You've got some little bitty leaves here. I love that kind of grunge stamping where you can do some things to liven up your stamping. So let's get started with this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to work with today. My inspiration was my Cajun Craze cardstock, and this is scored or cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And I've got two Very Vanillas, both at 4 by 5.25. So this is how we're going to do this. We're going to use these different leaf stamps. We're going to do these little grunge dots that we can do. There's also a bigger one too that you can use. But today we're just going to use the smaller one. So we're also going to use Bumblebee, Pumpkin Pie, and Cajun Craze. And I'm also going to be using the Banners Pick-a-Punch later because I'm going to show you how to do an easy way to do a flag. All right, so let's get everything organized here. Got my stamps already kind of done, a little bit of the ones that I'm going to use. And I loved these. We got a lot of different colors, but I thought these colors would be good for the fall colors. So I'm going to kind of start with my bigger stamp here, which is kind of going to be a little bit of my focal in the middle, and then I'm going to work around that. So I'm going to work with my Cajun Craze as being my darker color, and then a little bit of Pumpkin Pie, and then I'm going to fill it in with the Bumblebee. So as you know, I always use my piercing pad to get started with my card because I use that as my stamp pad, and I always use a scratch of paper so I can see what my stamp looks like and how it's going to stamp. Now, I will warn you, if you stamp too hard with this, you're going to get that edging. Do you see that edging around here? You don't want to do that. So you just want to give a nice clean stamp without pressing too hard. You see, I'm really not pressing very hard with that. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start in the middle, and I'm going to stamp that. Isn't that a pretty leaf? I just love that. Now, as we go, I'm going to have to keep cleaning my stamp because I've got different colors. Now, sometimes you don't have to clean it all the way, and if you even have a little bit of residue on it, it will make the color so it's not one particular color, one solid color. And that's not a bad thing. So if you kind of wipe off some but not get it all, and then you blend it with the other color, these colors actually will blend very well together. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'll show you that technique a little later, or I'm going to purposely do that. This is my Pumpkin Pie. I'm going to kind of go over here and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my Bumblebee. And I think I'm going to do him over here. All right. So I've kind of got things started a little bit. Now, I can go back and use that one again if I decide that I want to use that as another one. But right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and decide where I'm going to put my other colors. So I'm going to do probably a Cajun Craze. And I think on this one, I'm going to do this one kind of over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, do my Bumblebee, and I think I'll do one here. And I think I'm going to do another Bumblebee up here. There we go. Now I think I haven't had my Pumpkin Pie yet, so I'm going to try to do another one kind of over here. Now you don't have to do them all the way. You can do them partial. You can kind of do them across. Just depends on what you're going to do, because I'm kind of going to put a sentiment here in the middle, so I kind of have an idea of what I have a little bit of blank space I can work with, but don't forget I also have my dots so I can fill in areas too to kind of fill things up a little bit more. So I think I'm done with that for now, but I can always go back and use that one again. Now I'm going to go with my smaller stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll start with my Cajun Craze over here. There we go, I like that. And then I'm going to do, now I think I'm going to do a little of an experiment. I'm going to kind of tip this over to the right a little bit and get my, so I'm not getting my whole stamp. You kind of see where the ink is? And then I'm going to kind of tip it over to this side and try to get some of that over there. And then I might just tip it on here just a tad. And let's see what that turns out to look like. It can't really hurt at this point, you know, because this is a colorful card. But you see what I mean, how you can get those different colors. You don't have to have one solid color, which is kind of cool. And then you can also remember you can do a stamp and then stamp again, and it would give you a whole different second generation look on your card too. You can do that too. So there are all sorts of different techniques that you can do when you're stamping your card. Now I think I need one more. I'm going to do a pumpkin pie, and I think I need to do one over here. I don't have much pumpkin pie over in this area. All right. So I think at this point, I think I'm pretty good. And what I'm going to now do is I'm going to use my little dots. And I'll show you what that looks like before I start doing that. So you've got this, and then if you did a second generation, you would get a lighter look. So let me give you, so see what that looks like. So you've got the darker and the lighter. So on here, I think I'm going to go ahead, start clean, and I'm going to do some pumpkin pie first. Stamp that, and I'll stamp it over here as a lighter color. And then sometimes you don't even have to clean it again, depending on if you're going to do your darker color. You can kind of do that too. So you can do a little bit of darker over here. Let's see, I think I'll do that here, and do a lighter generation there. And then I think I'll take my bumblebee, and then I'll do that down here and do a lighter generation. And then I'm going to just kind of fill in some of the areas over on the edge. See how it just kind of, that kind of splatter look kind of gives it a little bit more, so you don't have so much space. And then you don't have to worry about that you have to put so many leaves in there, because we're going to add a little embellishment also to the card itself, so you don't need to do all that. All right, so I think I'm kind of done with my leaves at this point, so I'm going to set those out to the side. And I think I'm done with my splatter for now, but I am going to use my leaves for something else here. So one of the other stamp sets that I'm using today is called Lovely You, because I'm going to send this card to one of my friends, and I told you I was going to do the banner. So, so I took a piece of Very Vanilla. Let's set this to the side. And this is just slightly less than 3/4 of an inch wide. And the length is going to be 4 1/4. And then that should take care of the two places when I actually stamp to do the flag, when I'm using my Banners Pick-a-Punch. So I'm going to go ahead and get the stamps that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this one, says love is what makes family. So that's going to do what's in the inside. And I'm going to do on the outside, miles apart, but still in my heart. Because I have several friends that live in other states, and I don't get to see them very often. So I thought this might be a kind of a fun card to send to them. So I think I'm going to do my miles apart and still in my heart on the outside. And I'm going to do that in Cajun Craze. So I'm going to stamp that. All right. And kind of try to stamp that in the middle without getting my head in there. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my Pick-a-Punch, and you know, you kind of have two ways of doing it. You can go out with your punch, or you can go more the end where the flag is. So, and you have 3 different levels that you can do, and this is going to be the smaller level. Like I said, it's slightly less than 3/4. And I always turn mine around so I can kind of see where it's punching, because sometimes it'll get stuck and then you don't get quite of an even punch. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick that in and go all the way to the end and make sure that it's nice, sitting there nice and level. and it's kind of where I was. And there is a groove there, so that really does help. But sometimes I just want to make sure that it's all the way in. All right. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. Is I wanted to put Cajun Craze, and originally I thought I was going to put that as a mirror and put that right underneath this, and then do it more of a, so that you'd have a second generation under there. But then I thought, no, I think I'm going to keep it square. So on this one, this is 4 1/8 by 7/8 for this. So it's just not quite, because remember we did 3/4, so this is going to be 7/8. So I thought this way I'm going to do a little bit different look, and I thought, you know, that'll kind of work. You know, I like to do things. Not everything has to be the same all the time. I wanted to bring a little bit more of that color onto my card, Cajun Craze. So I thought actually that would look pretty good. So we've got that already set. And now I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I'm going to go ahead and get my inside of my card done, and then we'll put the whole thing together. So on this one, now a lot of times you can go either, you can put it on the thing, or you can just pick it up with your block and pick it up that way so you can see what it looks like. But I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside, and I think on that one I'm going to do pumpkin pie. Now again, I'm going to stamp it to see what it looks like. Make sure it's got some good ink. Try to get that even. Yeah, I did pretty good there. Now, I decided that I want to do one of my leaves. And I'm going to show you, let's see, which leaf am I going to do? I think I'll do my bigger leaf here. And what I'm going to show you how to do is just kind of play with your inks a little bit. I think this would be kind of fun. So what I'm going to do, since this is a little bit bigger, is that I'm kind of going to, I don't know if you've ever done this, where you kind of take it and try to just do a little bit on this side, and then I'm going to do pumpkin pie, I'm going to kind of do there, and then I'm going to just lightly tap on my bumblebee. Now, if you get a little bit of ink on there, you can always take a paper towel and just kind of wipe it. But, you know, sometimes this doesn't really hurt it, just to kind of see what it looks like and kind of give it a different look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to stamp that. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just what our leaves look like in the fall when they start changing colors. And I think you can either do that the way I did it, or you could even do a dauber if you wanted and just daub it on with different colors. You could do that too. But I like the fact that you don't have to do one solid color. Let's add a little interest to our leaves, because that's what happens in the fall, right? All right. So I think it's time to start putting our card together. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside. Put that in. You can use your Tombow glue or a tape runner, anything that you might have. And I'm going to go ahead and put this down too, because I liked how that turned out. I'm going to put that on the front of my card. I think that turned out really well. And then I'm going to try to get some, I'm going to take some dimensionals here, and I'm going to put this on the back side because I want to have a little dimension on that. I'm not going to make it flat because I'm going to tuck. I actually took some of the dies and I cut out two of our different leaves. I cut out one in our bumblebee, which is our bigger leaf, and then I cut out this other leaf, and I did that in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to tuck that behind my sentiment here to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm just going to kind of put this on. And you can do this with a little bit of glue, a little bit of tape runner. You don't need much, and if this is a little bit too long, you can always snip off the end, because I don't really want it to show through. I just kind of want to do it as an embellishment. So I'm going to kind of stick that down, and I'm going to put just a little bit of tape runner there, and I'm going to stick this, and I'm not going to put it right. I just want to have it so it adds a little bit more dimension, a little bit more interest in my card than having just the leaves. Now, it would look good with just the leaves itself, but since I had the dies, I thought I'm going to go ahead and use those too. Well, this is today's card. I love making quick and easy cards. You know, when you need something really quick and you want to send a card off to a friend, These techniques are a great way to do without having to worry about doing a lot of different layers and a lot of different die cuts. You can just took me just a few minutes to prep, and this would make an easy way to do multiple cards since it is fall. Time to send out those cards to your friends and family. So I am done for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And subscribe to my channel. I do this every week on Tuesday, and I always try to give you a new technique and show you different ways to use your stamps. So that's all for now, and stay tuned, and I'll be back on next Tuesday where I'm here for Cindy's Cards and More to do a quick and easy card. Thank you. Bye now.